Hi guys, Thierry Rocks here, bringing you today's year-end video for 2023, or year-end review, whatever you'd want to call it. You knew it was coming. I make a promise, I always try to do these videos during the end of the year to just sum up everything that's gone on, because they're a nice little time capsule, I honestly think. And before I get to the review, why am I wearing this shirt that looks like, you know, Christian Weston Chandler or something? Actually, I do look like Christian, but at least I don't look like that damn Ian Brandon Anderson. Screw him. I look like the real Christian, but I'm just missing the paper medallion. But anyway, yeah. Christmas drip. I'm happy with it. But yeah, 2023. It honestly feels like it was like yesterday when I did the damn 2022 video, because this year went just like that. It went super quick. And what are my overall thoughts? Well, in my personal life, I've had a great year, honestly. It's been a really good year for me, honestly. You know, like for example, I got my mental health on track. I graduated uni, so that's done with. Still currently looking for, what to really do in life, job searching and all that. But yeah, I've got a bachelor's and honors degree in film production. So yeah, that's the thing that I love doing, is obviously my filming. So yeah, graduation ceremony and all that. It was really fun, you know. But yeah, I also, I went to Comic Con twice this year. One of them was in Manchester. The other one was a smaller local one, but still really fun, still enjoyable. I also saw Fear Factory live, the classic 90s industrial metal band. So that was really fun. I've also found faith again, you know, specifically Christianity. But I'm obviously not gonna like shove it down people's throats, but it's just something that makes me happy. And my family, they're doing the best they can, and I'm in a really happy relationship as well. So that always helps. Having a nice girlfriend. I mean, that really helps too. But yeah, overall for myself, it's been a super positive year. Other things I did was I made a short film, my final major project. That was Kennedy Park, my comedy drama about a new metal band trying to make a video in their garage. But yeah, that was definitely a learning experience how to make films. I've taken a little break, but hopefully, there'll be more to come in the future. But 2023 as a whole, um, I actually thought it was an okay year as far as things go. I definitely think it was a lot more chilled out than previous years. Obviously, there's, you know, things in the future, but I'll say it's definitely so far the best year of the 2020s, which isn't to say much because a lot of just this decade is going to be very chaotic. I feel. I think there's the lack of sort of like lockdown restrictions. It's just made me appreciate what I can do. I say that I've said that for every other video, but I might as well continue it. But the big trend this year seemed to be AI, artificial intelligence, which I don't really know why, because AI has always been a thing that's been around, like science fiction movies and stuff. And even last year there was talks about it, but for some reason it really just blew up as like a trend. I'm not really sure why, but yeah, it's like voices being created by AI, artworks, like literally like instead of something made by a person, it's literally just generated in a few minutes. Um, I'm sure there's lots of other examples too. Maybe they're scared of AI taking like accountants' jobs, those kind of things with figures and numbers. And my thoughts on it is that uh, I don't really know what can be done about it, to be honest with you. Um, if there's no like legislation behind it and it's not like a human, it does kind of makes it difficult really for wars. I do think it can be used for good in terms of memes, just making like content that's funny for free to entertain people. But to like take people's human beings' jobs and things, like it might make the world more convenient, but you know, there's going to be less people being able to make money, and you know, and will it get to the point of like the Terminator films and Skynet and all these scary androids? AI, they might be able to generate stuff, but it's all existing information. It's obviously it's not like it doesn't have a mind of its own, thoughts and feelings or anything. It's just taking information that already exists and amalgamating it into its own thing. But yeah, that seemed to be the big trend this year. 2023 was the year of the AI for some reason. I mean, there was Ray Kurzweil, I think his name was. He said that he did a book, The Age of Spiritual Machines, and he thought 2029 was going to be the rise of AI. So that's only like that's like 6 years or something away. So we'll have to see. But yeah, continuing with trends like media, I talk a lot about films of the year. 2023 was actually a super interesting year for films because I honestly feel like things are changing, like metamorphosizing. So you know how like musicals died and Western movies died of irrelevancy and stopped making money, and such examples. Well, I honestly think that the superhero genre is going to die. Well, maybe not completely because the super popular ones, obviously your Spider-Man and your Batman, they're obviously still, you know, they're such beloved characters that people still want to see them. You know, there's like Across the Spider-Verse and the Batman last year, but Disney and Marvel and even the DC universe are just making these friggin' boring movies that aren't making any money. So yeah, 2023 was also the year of the box office bombs. Like holy crap, so many 100 million plus budget blockbuster summer movies just failed. There was the Marvels, which like I didn't like Captain Marvel, but the first one made a lot of money. So, and this one completely bombed because it was related to a TV show that not many people liked. So, you know, nobody saw that. There was like Blue Beetle. There was like the Ant-Man 3 or something like that. And the only one I think made money was like Guardians of the Galaxy 3 because people did generally like the two that came before it. But all the others are just bombing. So what does that say? People are getting sick of those formulaic films. If they're not interested, they're not gonna go watch them. And they cost so much money and they're losing it. Disney specifically, that goes for their films as well. This was Disney's 100th anniversary. So literally 10 decades of work and they're failing. It was the worst 100th anniversary ever. Really bad. So, there was Elementals, which just looked pretty, but it had absolutely nothing interesting going for it plot-wise. Wish was absolutely just could have been written by an AI, the script, because it was that generic and boring. I didn't watch any of Disney's films this year, but already said like the Marvel movies that like failed. But I'm gonna go on, on another note. Let's talk about some films I actually thought were really good. My favorite film of the year was Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Puss in Boots 2, a sequel after the film in 2011. But yeah, it came out at the very beginning of 2023, but I believe it was released in other countries in December of 2022. But I'm going to class it as a 2023 movie. But yeah, it really did show you that like that was a film made with love, who just loved the franchise. It had emotional moments. The villain was evil for the sake of being evil rather than some cheesy, soppy, oh, well, he was good and he turned bad. No, we just straight up have Jack Horner who's just evil because he loves it. Puss in Boots and all the other characters get expanded on. I love the movie so much that I dressed as Puss in Boots this Halloween, which was really fun, by the way. My other half did a great job with the makeup. But yeah, that was my favorite film of the year. There was films that were decent, like the Super Mario Bros. Movie was pretty decent, but I do think it could have been it played it too safe with the plot. It could have been a bit more interesting, but it looked good and it was okay for what it was. Um, Obviously the two biggest films of 2023 was Barbie and Oppenheimer. And what did we get out of these two? Barbenheimer. Definitely the highlight of 2023 for me was Barbenheimer. Two movies released in the summer, complete opposites, but somehow having the exact same release date. In the summer of 2023, we had Barbie, which was very sort of comedic, very pink and girly, and it had that kind of message, like a bit of a sort of like gender equality message, which made people want to see it. I think the film was a 12A, so it wasn't a kids film, which made a lot of people want to see it. And then we have the opposite, Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer, a story, a serious 3-hour drama about the man who created the atomic bomb and the grief that he goes through with those decisions. And yeah, those movies, it's so surprising when a Barbie movie and a war kind of like film with the two highest grossing films of the year. That kind of shows you that people are getting sick of just boring films with no substance, you know. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed both movies. Some people trashed Barbie because it was like, oh, but it's all feminist and stuff. I thought the film had a lot of, equality stories. There wasn't any kind of stuff where it was like, female superiority that some may have seemed. A lot of people like say, why would you make a plastic film with dolls and put like those kind of messages in it? Well, that's obviously what subtext is, and the Barbie brand in history has a lot to do with like, the fact that she's meant to be the perfect woman, and who's basically a piece of plastic, but like, that body image, thin, perfect hair, blonde, bimbo, and why that was harmful to some. So it definitely had its place. And Oppenheimer was just like fantastic, but it did drag on a little bit. But I'm glad that I saw both of those. There was other films as well, like for some reason they wanted to do an Indiana Jones 5, and I did see it in cinemas, and I'll be honest with you, I found it entertaining, but it probably was on the same level as the Crystal Skull, and I don't really think it needed to exist. I mean, Harrison Ford, no offense to the guy, but he was like a fossil at this point, and they really tried to kind of like push. I think it was his daughter or his niece. She was just a very annoying character. I didn't like her at all, but the time travel aspects were fun, and it was interesting. But yeah, that was another box office bomb. It lost money, and a lot of people gave it shit. And another film I really enjoyed this year was Wonka. Yep, it's the third Willy Wonka related film after the 70s Gene Wilder one, the Tim Burton one in the 2000s, which isn't as bad as people say. And this one, which kind of removes a lot of the darkness because it's a young Willy Wonka, so it's a little bit more light-hearted. But it was directed by the guy who did the Paddington movies, so you could kind of see why it was so high quality. And I thought it was a lovely family film, all things considered, with some great British actors in there. But yeah, that was film in 2023. I think there's a lot of changes. Disney losing money makes me think as well, because of the writer's strike that happened. They're going to really struggle in 2024, and it really does show they just aren't focusing on what made them a great company in those classic films. That was film in 2023, very interesting year. Music, it was a much better year for rock and metal. I don't really listen to the pop charts or anything, I got nothing to say there. But yeah, there was Metallica did a new album, 72 Seasons. I didn't really like it. I thought it was kind of the most generic thing they could have made. The fans hate it when we try to experiment and stuff. Let's just do a standard thrash thing, and there wasn't any songs that were interesting to me, and it was just too long. There was also Element 80, the obscure new metal band, did their first album since 2005, a long time ago. But that one was really good. There was a band called Bodyweb that I really liked, who they did an EP, a debut EP, Trainwreck Simulator. And there was also Taproot made an album. I didn't listen to that one. Stain did a new album, which I didn't think it was interesting, but it was better than some of their later releases. And if you want to know what my favourite album of 2023 actually was, you'd be surprised. but Life is But a Dream by Avenged Sevenfold. Now I have to say something here. Avenged Sevenfold are a band that never really interested me. Didn't like M Shadow's voice, didn't like the whole focus on guitar solos, but this one here is so weird with elements of jazz and other such things that it was just really good. You know, some of the songs like sound like kind of like Sega Dreamcast music, while some of the others sound like Frank Sinatra, and it takes you on a journey. That's what I have to say. There's, you know, some people compared it to Saint Anger, but I think this album is a lot better than that. But yeah, I pick Life is But a Dream. I kind of wish I'd have listened to it sooner, but the backlash and things got me interested, and yeah, I ended up loving it. So there you go. Games, obviously, this year. Obviously, I don't play video games anymore. I didn't play any of these, but I just remembered the names of them. There was like Starfield, which was like a sci-fi version of Skyrim and Fallout, I guess, a space version of that. There was a new Legend of Zelda game, Tears of the Kingdom. There was really shitty games this year, like Lord of the Rings Gollum, which just looks absolutely miserable to play. But yeah, I watched videos of these games, but like I said, I didn't actually play them. Hi, sorry for the jarring cut, but I'm filming this in post. Another thing that I forgot in 2023 was the GTA 6 trailer that came out like in December. Um, some people are really like over analyzing it or judging it too much. It's like literally like a less than a minute long trailer, but Vice City looks really good. So but yeah, it doesn't come out till 2025. So yeah. Anime this year was not really interesting at all. The only one that I liked was Tomo-chan is a girl because I'm a tomboy lover right over here. So and I read the bits of the manga. It was nice to see it as a made into an anime. They did a Scott Pilgrim animated version to look a bit more like the comics. I hated the film version. I thought it was like terrible, but it looks good. It has a good style to it, all things considered. But it's not the kind of story I'd enjoy. Other trends this year, I would say this was also the year that the Israel and Palestine conflict got really bad. You know, not to put it down on the whole video. I'm not going to state my opinions on it because I haven't really looked into it, you know, much to say how I feel. But I'm just going to state that, you know, I just feel bad for all the civilians who get caught in the crossfire. You know, my heart goes out to them. There was also that really like shitty Velma show where they tried to make a really sort of left wing version of Scooby Doo, and it was so terrible that even people that it was appealing to thought it was terrible. Like they thought it was like offensive, making fun of them, whilst everybody else was saying how shitty the show was. They basically made Velma with like brown skin, and they just made her a really just hateful, just nasty character. And that seems to be a thing I noticed a lot. And it's like, why would you want to watch stuff like that? It's just like, you know, your main characters are jerks. But yeah, that was rightfully shat on, but a lot of people hate watched it and it got popular, unfortunately. So yeah, there you go. And speaking of which, I'm going to make this short, but I also noticed 2023 I've changed a lot, where I've just noticed that people are just too damn political these days. I just miss the days where it was like people were more relaxed, but now everybody's got to put their opinion on something. Um, I've noticed just a lot of people who are just like far right to the point where it's like they believe stuff that literally sounds like Nazism and fascism. So it's literally like unless you're white, male, athletic, you know, and all that, straight, then you know you don't deserve to live, and it's just really terrible stuff. But on the other hand, on the other side of the spectrum, people who are left wing, the cancel culture thing has gotten really big, where it's just someone that they don't like, they want to like ruin their life over an misunderstanding, and that's just really terrible as well. Like I understand cancel culture against people like the completionist who basically stole a bunch of charity money, didn't give it to the cause for his mum with dementia. But like, you know, some people who are barely even famous, or they might have made one little mistake, said a slur about 12 years ago, trying to cancel them. I just think it's a bunch of people who are just so miserable that they're gonna pick someone to ruin their life because they don't feel whole inside. So yeah, I can't stand them people either. But yeah, I've just kind of noticed in general with this year is that keep your loved ones close, but you never know who is going to end up being crazy with a dangerous mindset and way of thinking. So that's why I try to just look into things more, but just step away from my own sanity. if we keep dividing each other, what's going to happen when things get really bad? Also, something I wanted to mention that I didn't mention in any of the previous year-end reviews is that the app TikTok seems really big nowadays. It's just dominated the social media landscape, but I don't use the app. Um, I personally feel like I'm not in the age demographic. I feel like it's mostly a teenager thing. I'm too old to use it, so I've got nothing to say about it really. And I'm trying not to use as much social media because it gets very toxic. We also had celebrities who sadly passed away. The most famous one, I think, for me was Steve Harwell, the singer of Smash Mouth. All Star was a was a classic pop rock song in the 2000s in kids media, especially Shrek. But yeah, it's just really sad that I think he died of health problems like heart attack or liver or something like that. But yeah, really sad. But yeah, there was also Sinead O'Connor passed away, Tina Turner, Paul O'Grady, Michael Gambon as well, who I always think of the second version of Dumbledore, because we lost Richard Harris, now we've lost Michael Gambon, so we lost both Dumbledores now, so that's sad. Just this year has made me realise, as happy as I was, I really just want to put my own personal happiness and health first, and stick with those I truly love. I'm completely fine being the way I am. Introverted, thoughtful, creative type person. But yeah, I really am cautious of people I talk to. But luckily, I found a nice little social group for neurodivergent people like myself, and that's been really good. Just a few more things as well. Chris Chan, going back to Ian Brandon something. Chris Chan got freed from jail, which is just absolutely crazy. I thought I'd bring it up because this was I talked about the arrest back in the 2021 video, but yeah, it really just shows you how terrible the justice system is. They didn't have enough evidence, or they were just sick of the case. So they let Chris Chan free, and now he's doing really weird live streams, talking about his delusional stuff, and people just give him money because they're friggin' losers. But yeah, that's really terrible. Another thing as well this year was that I really got into the band Ween. I really got into Ween this year. They ended up being my top artist in on Spotify Wrapped, so that was really fun. Someday was my most popular song by them. Makes me think of me and my special person. It's a really sweet song, but they have really strange abstract songs as well. But yeah, overall, I would say 2023. It's made me grow up, and I think my personal happiness. I'm almost as happy as I was during my childhood. You know, just I have much better self esteem and confidence, and it was all through going through those experiences like uni that I just learned and things. Oh yeah, and we got a new dog this year, Basil. He ended up being born during the beginning of this year. So yeah, honestly, it was a positive year, and I learned a lot. But another thing is, what is the future of the channel? Well, I still want to continue album reviews, but I have noticed a drop in views, which I understand not everyone's a music lover, likes it as much as me, but maybe I can try to do them with better editing, make them a lot more interesting somehow. Not really sure how, but I'll look into that. Maybe do custom thumbnails. I have gained a couple hundred more subscribers this year, which is really helpful. We're nearly at the big 2,000, which we'll see what we can do there. I'm gonna keep uploading my short films. I'm gonna try to do an artistic horror film related to a good friend of mine who's neurodivergent. Another thing I'm looking forward to in 2024 is Dune Part 2, you know, because I absolutely loved the first Dune movie when it came out eventually in 2021. You know, I was so obsessed with the series. I read the full book, and it was meant to be released in November this year. Like, it was going to be like October, then November, then it got bloody delayed, which really frustrated me. Now it's not going to come out till March. So, but yeah, I'm still really happy to watch it. Like, super excited. Hopefully, it's going to be more action packed. Also, I think if it came out in November, I think it would have had to have competed with the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, which you know, seemed to make a lot of money. So yeah, maybe in hindsight, it's good that it got delayed, I guess. I'm also going to be moving house as well, so sadly, this might be the last end of year review with the classic bedroom setup because we're moving again. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you all had like a decent year. You know, I'm really happy for this year. It was one of my favorites. My birthday as well was really fun. Went out and had a drink, but yeah. Um, I hope you had a good Christmas with the family or any of your loved ones. I hope you enjoyed whatever holidays you celebrate. And, you know, let's just hope for an optimistic year. You know, do the best we can. Just really kind of like look into ourselves and just be positive, non-toxic people. I think that's really what we want to do. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in 2024. God bless and peace out.